my first step to real estate investing? I simply answer, just do it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Genevieve Stafford Jack. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, you're in for another treat. So what do I mean by just do it? Because there's some people that will say to me, Jen, I don't have the education. How do I do what? So let's fix that problem, right? At the end of March, from the 28th to the 31st of March, online from 7 o'clock at night, I'll be teaching property investing for beginners for free. So if you're interested in that, go down in the description and register so that you can get reminders. So now that problem number one has been solved. Problem number two is, Jen, I want to do such and such a strategy, and I now need my structures to be in order. I need to go and open a new business or do a trust account and. Now, I've also heard this so many times, and there's a gentleman that I met in a property networking event a couple of years ago. We were both in the classroom together, and I was doing it like, hey, how's things going? Whatever. So nice to see you. How's your property journey been going? And he told me that he's still working on his trust account structures. I was so blown away because at that point I was like, okay, I really didn't know what to say because I'd gotten into property, I'd gotten to find deals and started earning money as a property wholesaler, done a joint venture deal or two, done a back-to-back deal, and there was traction. And yet somebody who had money was still working on his structures. So I told myself, don't be judgy, step back, smile and wave, because we're all in different spaces. So if you are in that space where you're saying, I'm still getting 1 to 3 in order, my question is, how long have you been doing so? Because the one reality of real estate investing is that when you find your first deal, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into a property that's going to give you a profit. In fact, my husband and I had gone through 60 plus opportunities to find an opportunity. And when we eventually found an opportunity, it was celebration. Now, what if you in the same situation that you're trying to fix your life in one end, but you're not practicing what you had learned in a 3-day class? I mean, when it comes to the rich dad education, that's the education that I got. I sat in that class from 9 to 7 for 3 days, trying to absorb as much as I could, and then still going on investing in a coach, having that information and having that sort of interaction with people that are in this space was a phenomenal space for me. But now, what if I said, I'm just waiting for my company to register, or I'm waiting for my trust account to do whatever, and 2 to 3 years later, you're still waiting? You then have invested in education, and that education is gathering dust. The third thing that I hear, and here's the variations of it. Jen, aren't you afraid of doing real estate investing because you're a woman? Because after all, we need to go and view the properties. And when we view the properties, do we go alone? I'm like, either go alone. If you're comfortable and you hear a female's voice on the other side, go alone. But if you're not comfortable, find you a sidekick. My husband didn't go to every viewing that I had gone to. In fact, we had a divide and conquer in the household. So there were some times that he really is, I mean, he's good at finding deals. And sometimes coming back from when he worked at APSA, traveling back home may have been in a different direction to where I was that particular day. So we needed to divide and conquer. So at the end of the day, if you're afraid to be alone, find you a sidekick. If that really troubles you, put yourself in a situation of finding a property wholesaler that can find you the deals, right? That is point number 3. Point number 4 that I learned, that was again a very, very interesting one. You know, Jen, I've gone to several places for education and everyone says something different. I believe the reality of life is that when you are attending training, you're going to learn a universal truth. However, the universal truth is going to come from the perspective of the person that put the coaching or the training or whatever material that you are learning together. We all have different encounters. So, like for example, when I'm in a space and I just hear people punting, "Hey, no money down deal, you can become a property wholesaler." And then I ask that person, "So how much wholesaling have you done?" And they say, "Well, it's basically the same thing as it would be if you are going to find money on your own." That is true. Tick. But there's this huge gap. And this huge gap is finding an investor. In this huge gap, when you find the investor, how do you talk to them? In this huge gap, when you put a proposal together, how are you positioning the deal to them? There's too many variables in this gap to say it's practically the same thing. So, a lot of the times, what I do find is that when you do go through education and something sounds different, challenge each of the learnings by doing what? By just doing it. Because by doing what you have learned, you're then going to find out what is my next step. And when you find out what is your next step, you can then go in search of an answer. Why? Because you just did it. You went out there and you were your own hero. Like I'm about this cap. I've been wearing this cap, well, almost 24/7. But I've been wearing this cap daily to remind me that in my journey of being a property wholesaler, in my journey of doing joint ventures, in my journey of training and coaching within property investing, and in my journey of life, if I am not my own hero, who's going to be my hero? Because I need to apply the things that I've learned instead of stagnate with the information and then just say, yeah, that is wonderful information. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that I look up to and that I listen to on a daily. Those are the people that literally fill up my cup. But what do they tell me to do? They tell me to go and do the things that I learn. Why do they tell me to do that? So that I can be my own hero by applying the things that they are doing. I always want to step up from where I am, don't you? So, my question to you today, your first step into real estate investing, what are you going to do? And I hope that your answer is going to be, I'm just going to do it.